is episode 8 of By the Rumor, and I'm just here by myself. Christine is not with us today, and I know some of you that you may just flip off at this point. You may just say, well, I'm doing good. I'll be fine. I'm just going to get on out of here. But I ask that you stay. I'm going to keep it a little shorter today, but you do not have Christine to look at. You only have myself, nor of any of Christine's wonderful insights. Just going to be me. And like I said, I will make this short. I've still got on the right side the topics here that I'm going to discuss. And then I want to discuss the AI tools that I use almost every day. So I want to make sure that you hear that, because I fancy myself as a person that uses a lot of AI tools. And I also fancy you as somebody that should use them and use them often. One thing I do ask, if you can go to my own X account at Voice of DeFi. Follow it if you don't already, but also share out the space. I've got this space posted there, as well as the By the Rumor account. So share out that space. See if you can get some more people in here to learn about this. Christine is gone. She's out of the country. She's going to do some tattoo work out of the country, and well, that's kind of cool. I'm glad she's doing that. We were gonna have her still do the entire show on location, but it just did not work out. So that's unfortunate, but nonetheless something that we kind of needed to do, or she wasn't able to do. She wasn't able to get to the hotel in time. So she won't be here this week, and possibly not next week, but then we'll get back into the swing of things and get moving. So if you are unfamiliar how this works, here on the right side, right over here, I've got all of the topics that I'm going to discuss. Normally, Christine and I just kind of debate over the different topics, but I myself is just going to discuss them. I will make sure that let me make sure I'm doing this. I'll go in, and if any of you guys chat in the chat, I'll make sure I say something there. So make sure that, let me see, yeah. Make sure that you say something if you get a chance to speak. So interested in doing that. All right, with that, let's get this party started. There's no reason to hang around and just hear me introduce everything. Let's get this party started. Let's start with AI hallucinations. I don't know how often all of you use OpenAI or just ChatGPT, but there is a report that shows that their newest reasoning model, O3 and O4 Mini, are hallucinating way more than any of their predecessors. And if you don't know what hallucinations is, that's whenever you ask, let's say, a medical topic, hey, tell me what's so great about Advil or something like that. And it will mention some studies that were done about why it's so great. And it'll tell you everything you need to know about what you're asking about why it's so great, and even cite resources. But hallucinations is where those resources are completely made up. It just hallucinated them, right? It just made them up, and it doesn't rest in truth. Now, a lot of times, this is my own personal opinion, a lot of times people will say, oh, OpenAI isn't good because it hallucinates. And it's not whenever you're needing things rooted in facts. But I think people just think about their own use cases for these models rather than what everyone else's use case. Let's say I'm trying to help create a story, write a book, that sort of thing, and it hallucinates more. Well, it might just be more creative, right? It might be able to create these stories whenever I don't need it based in reality. Matter of fact, I'm trying to make a story that's based in fantasy. So whenever you hear that term hallucination and somebody's like, oh, that model isn't any good, well, it isn't any good. I noticed right here they say O3 and O4 Mini are OpenAI's reasoning models. And if that's the case, yeah, that's not good if their intent is to be based in, factually. But some LLMs, some large language models, some of those, it would be better for them to hallucinate more, right? To not just be based in reality all the time. It'd be better for them to come up with new things that no other LLM has ever came up with. And to me, that's a good thing. So I don't ever want to hear where hallucinations are the end of the story for certain models. If it is happening more and more with OpenAI, and it's intended to be models that are rooted in truth, in fact, well, that does need to be changed. And by the way, I think you're starting to see something that you're going to see more often. We already see huge battles between the AI companies. You see OpenAI, obviously. You see Anthropic and Claude. You see Google and Gemini. And there's a fight for supremacy on all of these. And they're all going to start having their talking points, right? Where we hallucinate less than the other guy. It's going to be like Coke and Pepsi, Ford and Chevy, that sort of thing. We're entering into a new world where everybody's going to want to be right, or at least better than the other. All right. By the way, whenever that bell sounds, it means it's time for me to move to the next topic. It doesn't mean immediately as soon as that bell sounds, I'm going to move to the next topic, but it's to remind me to move on and you to remind me to move on, to tell me. Get moving, voice. All right, next comes Tesla downgrade. Now, I don't think this headline is a shock to anybody that's been following Tesla. Since 2020, it was really rising, going up and down, but for the most part up. And certainly as Elon kind of got more and more in the public spotlight, it went really, really high. But we're seeing some issues with the market on the whole, and certainly Tesla's shares, they're falling after the analysts put in a downgrade. The stock price dropped 7% during midday trading, and then Barclays lowered their price target on the stock. I do wonder what's behind some of this, because I can look at a lot of macroeconomic factors and say that Tesla should be doing well. And then I can think of a few that would be stumbling blocks. But let me go with the well things first. We've got all these tariffs on, everybody's worried about car manufacturers bringing in parts from overseas, right? From China or wherever. China. Anyway, sorry. And Tesla doesn't have to deal with that. Tesla builds their cars right here in the States. They do everything. The tariffs, they should not have to worry about. Now, maybe there's something that I'm not aware of with Tesla where some of their parts are made off our land. But as far as I know, everything is made right here in the United States of America with Tesla. So there's a competitive advantage. Certainly a competitive advantage is they were just able to make their cars cheap. During a time whenever all of almost every product you buy is going up in value, Tesla is one of the few things that have been going down in value, and that makes it more affordable. Now, just to be clear, I am a Tesla driver myself, and that's a little frustrating whenever I pay X amount for a car, and then, a year or two later, I could get that exact same car newer, but for cheaper than what I paid for it at that time. So I remember for a bit of time, they were offering some promotions of, hey, you can get, 2% financing. You get 0% financing. And they'd call me up and they say, do you want to do this? And I'd say, not really, because you guys keep on lowering the price and it doesn't help me out as an owner that paid more than that. I've never been upside down on it, but it is a thing that probably helps out their new car sales, I would think. Now, all of the bad pub that comes with Elon being so much in the spotlight, people drawing swastikas on cars, people burning down dealerships. First of all, that's just ridiculous. Stop that. It's dumb. But yeah, that is going on, and it probably does negatively influence Tesla cars, because maybe somebody feels like if I have a Tesla, then that aligns me with evil Elon, and that's bad. Just get the car you want. Just get the car you want, man. If you don't want a Tesla, I guess that's your business too. But yeah, I am surprised to see the Tesla downgrade in there. All right, crypto ETFs. Let me bring up, I have a cheat sheet. I can't get by without my cheat sheet. Guess how many crypto ETFs are awaiting an SEC decision? Yeah, give you a chance. Tick tock, tick tock. There are 72 crypto ETFs that are awaiting an SEC decision. Do you remember when we were like, man, that Bitcoin ETF, that's going to come here eventually? And I would be part of like some meme coin communities, and they'd be like, oh, what about whenever we get this, XYZ meme coin, and it is an ETF? And everybody would go, ha, 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 that's funny. That probably is the case now with 72 crypto ETFs. Says the U.S. SEC is set to make a final decision on key Ripple XRP ETFs by October 25th. They got some time. Meanwhile, Grayscale and Canary's Litecoin ETFs have about a 90% approval chance in 2025. Now, that really surprises me. You guys remember, maybe you don't, maybe you're newer to crypto, but in like 2017, Charlie Lee, he had Litecoin, and it was supposed to be silver to Bitcoin's gold. If Bitcoin was digital gold, then Litecoin was digital silver. And people would say, oh man, you buy Bitcoin, but I bought Litecoin. It's going to go up as well. Just like silver goes up and down, much like gold goes up and down, Litecoin's going to do the same thing. And it never really did. Right before the market crash in 2017, Charlie Lee cashed out. It was like $275 at the time. I'm sure I'm off. It's been some time. And he got out and the market crashed. And it's had some trouble reaching those levels again. I don't know what it is. See here at the bottom here on my ticker? No, it's not. I do like seeing all the green down there, by the way. That's nice. Also, speaking of Tesla, it's up. What is that? 3.4%. You go, Tesla. Anyway, so XRP ETFs set to come. Litecoin ETFs set to come. I'm sure we're going to hear Solana ETFs. I'm sure those are one of these 72. I would love to have a list of the 72 and see what is the most ridiculous coin on the ETFs for those 72 crypto ETFs awaiting an SEC decision. But you know what? Many of them will probably be accepted because this is one of the more crypto-friendly administrations we've had in some time. The previous administration, it seems like anytime crypto farted, they would want to sanction it. But that does not seem to be the case now. Write that on a throw pillow. Anytime crypto farts, the Biden administration wanted to sanction it. All right. This is why I need Christine in here to keep me better on topic. All right. Fuel future. There was a trade war and it impacts petrol prices or oil prices. It says petrol and diesel prices are expected to drop later this year as the ongoing trade war reduces oil demand in China, potentially impacting U.S. fuel markets. Now, I find that very interesting. Just recently, it said that China, due to the tariff war, was going to stop buying oil from the U.S. and they were going to start buying it from Canada. You get the sense through all this tariff war that there's going to be sides starting to be picked here. Some countries are going to align with the U.S. Some countries are going to align, I guess, with China. I guess that's where, if that's where Canada. I mean, they'll trade with who they need to trade with, but they're mad at us. Canada is. China obviously mad at us, and this tariff war definitely has some repercussions of countries that we used to get along with, or at least passively get along with, and Canada being a big portion of that. But it's impacting oil prices, and that doesn't surprise me. Again, going back to the Tesla downgrade, I'm surprised at that because of all the uncertainty in with oil and tariffs. But hey, I guess lower gas prices could hurt Tesla as well, where it makes other traditional combustion engine vehicles a little more affordable. All right, let me move on to AI. Oh, where am I? I didn't skip. No, I didn't. Why did it make that sound? Oh, well, I'm just going to move to the next one. AI diagnostics. Says there's a new AI tool that surpasses competing AI and doctors. Researchers at the University of Buffalo have unveiled an AI tool that outperforms both competing AI systems and most doctors in medical reasoning and diagnostic accuracy. Do you think, and there has to be, do you think there is doctors, in the doctor group chat, okay, the X-ray, the radiologist group chat, do you think they're scared right now where they're wondering, oh my goodness, we're about to be replaced? Is that really happening? Or, and this is probably more likely because I know how humans can be, or instead they think, can't do what we do, bro. Can't do what we do. Let it try to find, XYZ diagnosis. And you know what? It will. And it will faster and more accurately than they can. This is an issue, okay? This new AI tool, it's surpassing competing AI. It's already surpassing other AIs. Eventually, It won't be that some new AI tool, we're worried about it surpassing doctors. We're looking at it, does it surpass other AIs that already surpass doctors? Doctors will be well in the rear view mirror. And this goes for a lot of professions. I only mention the medical industry because that's what this particular story is about. But this is something that I think you should look at with your own, way of living to see, can you be replaced? Is just calculations all that's happening, or is there a little more art to what you're doing? And of course, art can be done programmatically as well. Hello, NFT people. That definitely can happen. So keep that in mind whenever you're looking into what you're going to do with your life. Now, if you're just trading stocks in here, which I know most of the community is that might listen to myself or Christine trading stocks or crypto, as of right now, you're good. But we know that AI can be pretty smart and figure out patterns and things like that. And I have no doubt that there already are AI trading bots. I've tried to build one, and so far have not been able to get it to be consistently successful. But it is out there. It is something that can be done. But yeah, these doctors in their group chat, they definitely would be scared of being replaced, or they need to be. When their head hits the pillow at night, they're scared to be replaced. But I guarantee you that there's a few of them that say this will never happen. This will definitely, always human intuition will always beat a computer. And I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I do believe that we are just at the beginning of what AI can do. And if you're in a profession that AI could replace, that should concern you. Don't be so cavalier and think that no matter what, you cannot be replaced with what you do. Because you can, and it'll be cheaper. I think it'll be cheaper. Need to talk about electricity prices at some point. All right, let's move on to AI language. I found this really interesting. Maybe I'll put this later. I never can multitask, so I'm not going to, well, maybe I can. Let me bring up this source article. But there's breaking news in AI language models. I'm going to put this article here. I'll tell you what, just right now, I will put it right here in the group chat. Check this out. I found this really interesting, and you may not be able to read it just right now as you're hearing me speak, but it talks basically about ways of communication through language and how AI is having to sift through that. And I found the article incredibly interesting. One of the reasons so is that it talked about it's more than just communication is more than just the words that we say. This is what I found to be interesting. There's also tonal inflections. A lot of times I'll do like voiceover work or something like that, and they don't want me just to say, you need to buy this NFT project. This NFT project is good. This meme coin is good. You should look into it. You should buy it. No one wants me to just say that. Instead, they want me to speak like I'm speaking to you now of, highs and lows and tonal inflections in my voice. And those have a lot to do with communication as well. Anybody that's ever got in a text message fight knows this, right? Whenever you are communicating with someone and they just didn't get what you mean, right? You're like, no, I was just joking, bro. Okay, I was just joking. No reason to come on. God, if I were to say that in person, you wouldn't have acted like that. And you're probably right. Do you know why? Because they would have been able to read your facial expression. They would have been able to read your highs and your lows of your voice and how you were saying it and how loud you were saying it. But over text message, that loses that. Well, these AI language models are starting to learn this because we're getting these different text-to-speech type of services. I'm thinking like 11 Labs. There's a new one called, I think it's DAI, that is an open source one that you can run just on your own computer. And it's got these inflection points. So as these TTS services, these text-to-speech services try to one-up each other, they're starting to learn, and I say starting to learn, they know that it takes more than just reading the words well. You want to have laughs. You want to have tonal inflection up and down. Read that article that I put in the chat, and I'll put it just on my Voice of DeFi account or the By the Rumor account later too, because It's really important to be able to hear or to understand, I would say. And check out those TTS models. You can look at this, that die one, you can actually make podcasts that are two speaker if you just have some voice from the two people. And I'm going to make a fake podcast between Christine and I, and I'll release that. It'll just be the audio. I'll release that sometime this week. And I think you'll find it interesting how I have not heard what it will sound like, but I think you will find it interesting just how accurate it can be. So look for that on my feed, and I'll repost it from the Buy the Rumor account, which should be interesting. All right, normally at this point, I throw it to my co-host for Christine's Corner, and she breaks down something for us. Sometimes she'll tell us about some conspiracy theory that's been ruminating in her mind. Sometimes she'll talk, I think last week she talked about influencers that lost big in crypto. I certainly will miss that today from being able to hear that from Christine. So maybe we'll get that next week. What I really want to do, it's what we were going to do today, is I want her to tell us about her trip, about why she's out there, why she left the country. I won't even say where she went yet. I'll let her reveal that. And, what she's doing out there, and maybe any funny stories that she had out there. So look for Christine to come back, hopefully as soon as next week. She'll still be out of the country on next Tuesday. But nonetheless, we'll see if we can somehow get her on here. Maybe even if I just record something with her, and then I could play that during Christine's Corner. All right, with that, normally next we do birthdays, and today will be no different. Let's do this thing. Yay! You don't know how much I had to work to push Christine's part out of the way so that then I could speak, and I would take up the whole screen. But all right, so we have some birthdays. Some of these are big birthdays, right? How about Queen Elizabeth II? She was born in 1926 and would be 99. Okay, she's been the Queen of the United Kingdom since 1952. Okay, was the longest reigning current monarch, and surpassed the previous record held by her great-great-grandmother, which was Queen Victoria. Next up, age 74, Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza. Y'all ever heard that? Tiny Dancer by Elton John. If you really listen for it, it sounds like Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza. Anyway, he's an American actor. Most people know Tony Danza from the show Who's the Boss? And I just watched a wonderful movie called Angels in the Outfield, which he played an aging pitcher. So I would say check that out, but it's an old movie. You don't have to worry about that. How about Rob Riggle? Rob Riggle's an American actor, comedian, retired United States Marine Corps Reserve officer. He's worked on Comedy Central's The Daily Show, and he's been in The Hangover and Step Brothers. Rob Riggle's hilarious, but he is 55 today, born in 1970. Terrence J. If you guys have watched 106 in Park before on BET, he co-hosted 106 in Park. He's an actor, model, entertainment reporter. He is 42 years old. Wow. Terrence J. ages. Iggy Pop, American singer, songwriter, musician, and record producer, is considered an innovator of punk rock, new wave, and other styles of rock music, age 78. Iggy Pop's real name? It's Iggy. It just sounds like it was made for Wikipedia. All right. And last one is Andie MacDowell, American actress and fashion model. She's known for her successful roles in Four Weddings and a Funeral and Groundhog Day. I love Groundhog Day. Wish we could need to watch Groundhog Day again. If you haven't watched Groundhog Day, I know we had Groundhog Day recently, and you've never seen it, you need to see it. Great movie. Holds up the test of time. I assume everybody that would listen to this has heard this before. So, all right, that's it for birthdays. Let's move on to voice lessons. This is my segment that I always do. I want to tell you what tools I normally use in AI. Let's do this thing. Right? Why isn't this playing?
Voice lessons, you'll hear it loud and clear. Tech and crypto wisdom, the truth is here. Big thoughts, bold moves, cutting through the haze. When the voice speaks up, you'll be amazed. So listen up.
All right, AI tools that I use almost daily. So, whenever I first started getting on Spaces, people really wanted to know my microphone setup, okay? Because I was one of the few people that use like a professional microphone. This same one. Hope that doesn't hurt anybody's ears. Sorry about that. But this exact same one. And I would share that. But lately, more people want to know, oh, how did you do X, Y, Z? For instance, this whole thing in here, let me turn that off. This whole thing in here that I created at the bottom here where it says OpenAI models hallucinate more. We've got ad space. If anybody wants to put something in the ad space, got all the topics that we talked about. And there's even a back end where I can work on that. All of that I built with AI. And I had a whole segment about vibe coding the other day. But I want to talk about the actual tools that I use. And I use these almost every day. And it goes deeper than just ChatGPT. I think it's good for you to know these tools. As I just talked about doctors being worried about their jobs being replaced. Even if your job isn't going to be replaced by AI, you should do everything that you can do to be able to learn everything you can about AI. Excuse me. I think that'll be very, very important for you to do. Don't just learn about the different things that you can do with ChatGPT. Learn about the different things you can do on your own computer. If you have a gaming computer with a GPU, there is absolutely some things that you can do on your own computer locally. Literally, you could do some of the things you do with ChatGPT at home without any internet connection at all. And if you're a prepper type of person that gets worried about different things that can that will happen, you're worried about bad stuff happening, so you stock up food and stuff like that, then you should want to know about, assuming you can have the electricity from the sun that you put out for the panels that you put out in your prep place, you should want to know how to run these LLMs locally. So the tools that I use, let me talk about that. So let's talk about just how I created this By the Rumor graphic package right here. Like you see this on the right, you see the voice lessons, this is what I have at the bottom. I have the ticker. I wasn't a coder, and I needed a way to be able to do this. And at first, I did just use ChatGPT. I would just type into ChatGPT, and I would say, hey, I'm wanting to build this. Can you code it for me? And then it would spit out the code, and I'd be like, I don't know what to do with this code. And it would step me through. Okay, open Visual Studio Code, put this in, and it would step me through that. There are tools now that make that much easier. The ones that you've probably heard of is Cursor. Okay, Cursor is basically it's called an IDE. It's something you can put the code into, and it'll help you, program, but it's got AI with it. But the one that I use, if it matters, is Windsurf. I've used Windsurf for some time now, and they've just now changed their pricing model, so I don't want to necessarily get into that, even though I may be affected by that. We'll find out if it's good or bad. But I use Windsurf, and basically it's exactly the same, except it does it a little bit better. I'll put it into Windsurf. I'll say, hey, I want to build this By the Rumor podcast. It's a lot like the ESPN show, Pardon the Interruption. Could you build something kind of like that? And it would say, yeah, do you mean something like this? And I would say, no, not like this. How about this, this, and this? And it would say, okay, let me do this, this, and this. And it would do that. And Windsurf does everything all together for you. Creates the code. It kind of tries to match what you're trying to do. It even has now where it'll bring up a browser. You can click a certain point in the browser. You say, no, this isn't what I want it to look like. And it'll help to fix that. So if you are looking to code Windsurf or Cursor, I don't care. I'm not home team about these things. Some people get real home team about what software they're using. That's not me. But Windsurf is what I use. Now, some of you may remember, if you've followed me for some time, I did create Victoria at one time. She was an AI co-host. And that was an old way of doing things. I did not have Windsurf at the time. I used Claude. Claude actually is very good. It's much like OpenAI. It's much like ChatGPT. But it's got some advantages to it. But I used Claude to be able to code that. But then I used a tool called 11 Labs. Now, 11 Labs, you've probably heard of it, but nonetheless, I feel like if I'm going to tell you about the tools I use daily, you need to know about 11 Labs. Basically, it's a text-to-speech, just like I talked about earlier. You send the text into 11 Labs, it comes back in a voice style of your choosing, and I am telling you, it is scarily good. I used to use it for Victoria. She would literally laugh at the appropriate time, and then afterwards have the recoil laugh, like, but anyway, you hear that breath that I did in, I overdid it there, so you'd really kind of feel what it's like. But nonetheless, that's what I use for 11 Labs because it's so realistic. And these new ones you can actually run locally on your machine. The one I like to run, let me see, what's this one called? LM Studio. LM Studio. This is a local type of program that you can run. You'll have to download them. Obviously, you'll need the internet connection, and you'll need some pretty good storage space. Some of these models that you have to download are several gigs. You can find any from like a gig up to 40 and 50 and 60 gigs and on past that. So, but LM Studio, the reason I want to mention this is I can use this almost daily is sometimes I'm doing some other things or I get locked out of OpenAI for whatever reason, and I can use these local projects to be able to continue to work, or even if my internet was down. The reason these are good is there are some local open source projects that you can put on your computer, and they are just as good as paid competitors. The reason I bring that up is because, well, first of all, I don't want you to waste money. If you're willing and you feel like you've got the know-how to run something locally on your own machine, then you should play around with LM Studio. You can literally download the models through LM Studio. It's free. You might find, I may be wrong about this, but you might find that your use of LM Studio is exactly what you were using ChatGPT for, and it's for free. Now, if you really tax it and you really start getting it to do some pretty serious work, it's going to be slower. It's going to be slower. I don't know what type of GPU you're rocking. I'm rocking a 3090 over here. I wish I had a 5090. I skipped 4090 thinking I'll just get it at the 5090. And now Terraform. So I'm never going to get a 5090, am I? Anyway, I'm wanting a better GPU, but got money ready to buy with it, but not scalper prices. I want retail prices. I may not be able to get that. Anyway, you're using LM Studio. You'll be able to run what you want right off of your GPU, and you might find that you get everything that you get out of ChatGPT right from LM Studio, and you can do it locally. You could do it without an internet connection, and maybe most importantly, you can do it without a monthly payment. So this is the good thing about open source. Now, if you say, Voice, this all sounds good. I don't know anything about how to get this stuff off of GitHub. I don't know anything about anything. Then that's when you go to your good buddy, ChatGPT, and you say that exact same thing. I don't know nothing about nothing. Help me out here, ChatGPT, and it will help. It will help. It's like, okay, it's fine. You need to do this, this, and this, and it will step you through that to be able to do that well. So I mentioned Windsurf as my IDE of choice. I mentioned 11 Labs as my text-to-speech as choice, and I mentioned LM Studio as using things locally that you would like to do. Other text-to-speeches that I've used one called Kits, Kits. They work well. Another one that I've used for like the songs that I do called Suno.ai. For instance, Christine's Corner. Let's play Christine's Corner real quick if I can. So this. Okay, so all of this, the video did not come from AI. That came from a template. But that song came from Suno.ai. And Suno is a great tool. You will put in what you want. By the way, there is an open source alternative for Suno. If you want to know that, then DM me. I'll get it to you. The reason I say DM me, and I don't just tell you now, because it's not at the top of my mind of what it's named right now. But Suno.ai, they actually have some free credits that you can use this for. And you just type into it, give me a song about crypto, about whatever you want. And it will write it. Make it a rap song. Make it a pop ballad. For Christine's, I said, make it sound like a 90s sitcom intro. And that's what it did. Puts that together. Sounds great. I listened to 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 of them, and I picked the best one out of them. I love Suno. It works so good. You guys know this. I ran a book club. If anybody's new to me and you aren't sure about that, Christine and I used to run a book club. And I would read once a week. I would read a few chapters of a book. Normally they were dealing with trading. But before every show, I would play a custom song. And it was so custom, I would literally type in people that were commonly in our community, right? I see Alexander. I see, if I see Alexander in commonly coming, I would put his name there with Suno. And I would say, hey, mention Alexander. Hey, mention Adam. Hey, mention Innovative. All these people that were in the community. And it would do that. It would write, and I would say, make it a rap song. And it would write a rap song or hip hop song or, show tune ballad, that sort of thing. It would do all of that and it would sound so good. It would make it sound like you literally had a studio recording these things. So Suno.ai, there is other competitors. One's called Udio. I'm sure it's Udio.ai, but I know it is Udio. You can do that one. That one, if you're looking to make music of some sorts, Suno is fantastic. Kits that I mentioned that'll do text-to-speech, they also will do music. So make sure you check those out. And I really do mean this to anybody that's listening live or on the replay. If you're wondering, like, hey, do they have an AI for this? Holler at me. I certainly don't mind even looking into it for you to be able to do that. This is why you need to be able to know these things. Because as time goes on, almost everything we do is going to have to do with AI. So I don't know that I'm really saying anything. It's not like I can really see into the future. You can clearly see it because it's almost already there now. I guarantee you already teachers are saying it's rare that they get something back that's not AI generated. They're having to fight that in schools. You think if that's happening in schools that it's not happening at work? You don't think that every Excel sheet and TPS report and every other thing that comes from a cubicle farm isn't being passed through ChatGPT first or some sort of AI first? It is. You got to know how to be able to do this stuff, and don't just limit yourself to OpenAI and ChatGPT. Know some of these other things. Work some of them locally. I am telling you, if you will go down the rabbit hole, you will find yourself so much smarter than you used to be, and you'll be able to talk intelligently in these AI conversations because it's going to be a part of life. Think about it like, 2007, whenever the iPhone first came into, everybody's hands. Everybody had to have an iPhone. And now, look around, okay? Anytime you go to an event, everybody's got their face in their phone, right? We've all lost ourselves. I talked about dopamine addiction last week. It's where everybody is. Mobile phones have something to do with every aspect of our lives now. This is that same moment. AI is going to have something to do with everything you do, not most of what you do, everything that you do, and you need to be prepared for it. That's why I'm telling you, these are the tools that I use daily, and some of them are local, ran from your own machine. I mentioned LM Studio. Get familiar with GitHub. I thought GitHub was scary as I got into it at first, but it's not. I had my Sherpa of ChatGPT to help me through to learn more about it. You need to learn about AI. You need to use these tools that I'm using and build you something. I know from talking to you, generally most of the community that listens to Christine and I tend to be entrepreneurial, right? They tend to have big ideas that they would love to be able to do, but maybe don't have the funds to be able to do them. AI evens that playing field. You got a great idea to have. Tell ChatGPT, tell some sort of LLM that you want to build this and you need help building it. It will absolutely help you build it. Then say, I need to market this. I've built this. Thing looks great. It's amazing. Thank you for the help. And I need to market it. And it'll help you do that. And then you'll say, I need a website for this. And it'll help you build that. And then you'll say, I need to SEO optimize this. And it'll help you do that. And then you'll say, I need to make sure that I don't have any security flaws in this. And it'll look to it as a security expert. It will do all of these things. It'll do all of these things. And you need to be aware with how to be able to do this because your peers, you are going to get passed up if you don't do these things. You're going to get passed up, and I don't want you to get passed up. I want you to be able to do all of these things and not have to worry about any of this, about AI and you getting left behind. So check that out. The best place to start is ChatGPT. The second best place to start, if you really want to get into things, I say it's Windsurf. If you really want into code, download Windsurf. Just play around a little bit with it. Say you want to build Pac-Man. I got it. Say you want to build Here's a homework. I'd love to see if anybody can do this. I want you to get your favorite NFT, because I know you guys have an NFT that you have hanging around. It's doing nothing, right? Say you want to build a Pac-Man game that uses the image of your favorite NFT as Pac-Man and uses however many ghosts are in Pac-Man, 5 of your least favorite NFTs as the ghosts, okay? Don't make it connect to blockchain or anything like that. This is a right-click save situation. Get those images and make Pac-Man with those images. I bet you can do it. I'm probably not going to put my time into do it because I've got other projects that I'm trying to do. But as a good starting place, this would be a good starting place. Try to make you a Pac-Man game with a custom Pac-Man icon and a custom ghosts. Okay, you could have it chasing around, your least favorite NFT or something like that. Try it. I really think you'll be surprised at how much you learn from it all. So I use all of these almost daily. The thing is, the title of this segment, AI tools that I use almost daily, it's ever growing. Tomorrow I'm going to have a new one that it's ever growing. There's more. AI's moving faster than I can keep up with trying things out. I'll give you one other that I use almost every day. If I keep on thinking, I literally could just talk all day about this. So I'm not going to keep you forever. But the more I talk, the more I think about other things. I use another thing called Pinocchio.computer. Pinocchio.computer. Pinocchio is a great, because a lot of times whenever you download some of these local models, there is a lot of learning to do. You need to download a lot of dependencies and get your environment right before it will run those local models. Pinocchio.computer allows you to do all of that almost with just a few clicks of a button, okay? So try Pinocchio.computer. That's the website, Pinocchio.computer, and you can download their software, and it's almost like an AI browser for different LLMs. It'll put it on your local machine. So many things: text-to-speech, image generation, music generation. I saw one that was sound generation. If you have a video with no sound and it has a door opening slowly, it will give you a creaking sound for that door. So sound effect generation. You name it, Pinocchio.computer. Cocktail Peanut puts it together. Okay, you can follow his account. Great follow, by the way, because he loves AI, and that really comes out in what he says. But Pinocchio.computer, download that. You know what? I should have mentioned that first, because that's a really good one to get into locally ran AI things. And I use that every day. I could tell you some of the things within that that I use, but Pinocchio.computer is my gateway, my doorway that I get in to get all of the locally ran AIs, and it is fantastic. You want to keep updated with things, has an update button for a lot of the programs that it has on there. Do that, Pinocchio.ai, and build that Pac-Man game that I was talking about. I think you'll really enjoy it. All right. I think, like I said, I could go all day. I'm not going to, because sometime you're going to be like, that's enough, voice. No Christine here. Tired of you, man. And I get it. It's okay to be tired of me. But I do want you to try some of these things. We will be back next Tuesday. Christine will still be out of the country, but we're going to try to get her either I may record a segment, like a Christine's Corner segment for her. You know, it's the other side of the world. The time zones don't necessarily match up. But if we can get her live on here, we're going to. And I'm sure she's got some great stories to be able to tell. So make sure you are following the By the Rumor X account. Make sure you're following my X account and, of course, Christine's X account, at Christine Barnum, at Voice of DeFi, and at By the Rumor TV. Follow all those accounts, and then you'll make sure you don't miss an episode that we're doing. We're doing something a little bit different with this whole By the Rumor show. We've got I already talked about the stuff to the right earlier, where it showed all the topics that we do. We have the ticker down at the bottom. We just have intro songs, things like that we try to make this unique through AI, okay? So the show's about technology, the show's about crypto, the show's about just things in pop culture that affect all of those things. And Christine's great co-host for that. But make sure you join us. Make sure you look at what we're doing and share what we're doing. I appreciate every one of you that came in here, even without Christine. Love all of you. And until then, I will see you next Tuesday. All right, later, y'all. Peace.